Hello, welcome back. 2024 is officially over somehow. 2025 still does not sound like a real year to me. But today we're going to rate and review every single book I read in 2024. I read 53 books in total. I'm going to give my star rating and brief thoughts on each book. We will keep each book review pretty short and sweet so that we can get through all of these books in a somewhat timely manner. And I do have all of the books stacked in order from what I read in January 2024 all the way to December 2024, so you can see exactly how my reading taste kind of changed throughout the year. But first up, we have Starling House by Alex E. Haro. This is a gothic fantasy book. I gave it 4 stars. Very slow paced, but it is very well written and pretty atmospheric. Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. 5 stars. I thought this book was so much fun and it's very well written and a fun twist on your usual murder mystery book. My Heart is a Chainsaw by Stephen Graham Jones. 3 stars. It is a very fun slasher, but I did find his writing style a little bit difficult to read. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. 3.5 stars. I enjoyed this when I read it. It is very fast paced, but the more I think about it, the less I like it. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. 3.5 stars. Sci-fi book, very fast paced, easy to get through, but didn't change my life. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. 5 stars. Probably my second favorite thriller of all time. It is very dark and twisted, and I really enjoyed it. Everyone on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson. This is the follow-up book to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone. 3 stars. I still enjoyed it, but I didn't like it nearly as much as the first book. Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. 3 stars. Horror book with a very fun concept, but I did find the execution not fantastic. All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. 4.5 stars. Very fast-paced, very well written. I love this book. The Shining by Stephen King. 4 stars. Stephen King is absolutely fantastic at writing characters, but this story was a little bit slow and took me a while to get through. The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. 3 stars. Again, one of those books where I really enjoyed it when I read it, but the more I think about it, the less I like it. And it did take a while to get set up. I would say A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is better than this book, but neither of them are my favorites. You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight by Kaylin Bayron. Hopefully I said that right. This is a middle grade horror book. 1 star. I absolutely hated this. It just was not for me, but it had a fun concept, but again, not my thing. Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. 5 stars. This is my #1 favorite thriller of all time. I absolutely love this book. If you're gonna read any thriller from this video, read this one. The Southern's Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. 4.5 stars. Grady Hendrix is my favorite horror author, and this was just a really fun vampire book, and it has good summer vibes. So if you're looking for a horror book for summer in 2025, I would check this one out. Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. 2 stars. Literally nothing happened in this book. I can't tell you what happened because literally nothing did. So I did not like the story. It read very literary, which is not my cup of tea, and like nothing happened, but I gave it 2 stars because it did have really good summer vibes. Darling Girls by Sally Hempworth. 5 stars. Another thriller about 3 foster children and their foster mother, and it was very twisted, and the ending had me shook, and I just love this book. None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. 3.5 stars. Very fast-paced thriller, and it's very easy to get through, but I did have my issues with the story and overall plot lines. Brother by Anya Alborn. 1 star. This is a horror book. Worst horror book I've read all year. I hated it. Not my cup of tea. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. 4.5 stars. I love this book, but it did take a little bit to get set up, but it is very fast-paced, and I did enjoy it, but it did not give me that 5-star feeling. Jar of Hearts by Jennifer Hillier. 2 stars. I enjoyed the first half of this book, but this book did have my least favorite trope of all time in thriller books, and I cannot recommend it for that reason. My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. 3.75 stars. This is not my favorite Grady Hendrix book, but it was really fun, and I did enjoy reading it. The One by John Mars. 2.5 stars. Very cool concept, but it was very predictable, and I did not find the execution fantastic. So it had great potential, but it just fell short. Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. 5 stars. Second book in the Red Rising saga. This book I think about on a weekly basis. I cannot say enough good things about this. I love this book with my entire heart and soul. The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. 3.5 stars. Another thriller book. I remember enjoying it when I read it, but it is very forgettable. Like, I cannot tell you what this is about now, but I remember almost every other book I've read this year, and I can't tell you what this is about. So for that reason, I gave it 3.5 stars. Good, enjoyable book while you're reading it, but nothing to write home about. How to Make a Horror Movie and Survive by Craig DeLuey, 3.25 stars. I enjoyed it while I was reading it, but I do think there is room for improvement. So I didn't hate it, but I also did not love it. It was just kind of in the middle. Morning Star by Pierce Brown, 5 stars again. This is the 3rd book in the Red Rising saga. Again, cannot say enough good things. This is the only book that has made me cry all year long. The Measure by Nikki Ehrlich, 2 stars. I gave it 2 stars because it had a very cool concept, but it was so boring. Like, the concept was so fantastic, but the execution just fell so short for me. This reads very literary, which I have learned throughout the year is not my favorite. The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. I'm in between 4.25 to 4.5 stars. I love this book. The ending had me shocked, and it was very quick for me to get through. This book honestly started my love for fantasy romance. Creep by Jennifer Hillier, 2 stars. A thriller book that I found very basic and very predictable. I literally guessed every twist and turn in this book. I've learned that this author just is not for me. Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, 4 stars. The best book boyfriend I've ever read, and the female main character is also fantastic. Honestly, probably the most wholesome couple out of all the fantasy romance books I've read. Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb, 4.5 stars. I love this book. It is so immersive. I felt like I was there watching the entire story unfold. But it was very slow for me because it is very character based, so it did not give me that 5-star feeling. Bark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, 3.5 stars. This was a good setup for books 2 and 3, but this first book itself wasn't anything spectacular or life-changing. Glow of the Everflame by Penn Cole, 5 stars. I think this might be my favorite book of the entire year. I love this book so much. It's pretty much absolute perfection. I loved everything about this, the tension, the plot, everything. Heat of the Everflame by Penn Cole, another 5 stars. I also absolutely love this book. I thought it was a good follow-up to book 2, and we get to see more of the world, which I really enjoyed. And this does leave off on a major cliffhanger, so I am impatiently waiting for book 4 to finally be released. Margot's Got Money Troubles by Rufi Thorpe, 2 stars. Another literary fiction that was just not my jam. This book was just not what I expected. I thought it was gonna go into her journey through different jobs, but it was very focused on one thing, and I just thought it was a little bit boring to read about. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is the 2nd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia. That comes after The Serpent and the Wings of Night. 4.25 stars. I thought this was a really good follow-up to the first book, and I really enjoyed it. And I thought it had a good mix of both plot and spice. Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Roerich. This is the first book in the Legacy series. 5 stars. I absolutely devoured this book. Dark fantasy romance, true morally gray characters. It is very dark indeed, but I absolutely loved it. Phantasma by Kaylee Smith, 4 stars. This is very fun. It's the perfect October book in my opinion. It has a competition, which I love in fantasy romance, and it was just overall a good time. The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, 5 stars. This is the first book in the Mistborn trilogy, and I just really love Brandon Sanderson's writing. I enjoyed all of the characters, and I really liked the hard magic system in this book. Storm of Secrets and Sorrow by Melissa K. Roerich, another 5 stars. This is the 2nd book in the Legacy series, and I thought it was a fantastic follow-up to the first book. I can't really say much about this since it is a sequel, and I don't want to spoil anything in this series for you, but I loved it. Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. This is another 4.25 to 4.5 star book for me. This is just a fun lit RPG book. It's very humorous and it gives video game vibes, and it's just a great time. If you are a video game fan, I think you will really enjoy this book. We are on to our last stack of books, so we're almost done. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Cicerelli, 3.5 stars. This is a young adult fantasy romance book. Really good fall vibes. I love the witch and witch hunter enemies to lovers aspect, but I wasn't obsessed with any of the characters, and I didn't totally care about the story overall. Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I think this is the most overhyped book of the year. I ended up giving this 3 stars. I enjoyed it overall, but I found the overall story and plot kind of messy. It felt like it was 5 books all smushed into one, but I did enjoy the characters and the ending of the book. Guild by Raven Kennedy, 2 stars. This is the first book in the Plated Prisoner series, which is King Midas retelling, and this first book is not good. I did not like it, nor do I recommend it. Split or Swallow by Lindsay Straub, 2 stars. This is the spiciest book I've ever read. I absolutely hated it. but I gave it 2 stars just because it is such a wild concept. I was like, gotta give props where props are due. Reign and Ruin by J.D. Evans, 4.25 stars. It is very well written, a lot of political intrigue. The romance is very realistic and well written in this book, but I did find it a little bit slow and it was so focused on one thing. I wish there was more going on in the plot. This Woven Kingdom by Tahira Mafi, 3 stars. This is a very well written book, but it does read very literary for a fantasy romance book. And honestly, not much happened in this book, but I do think it would be good for the right person. Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanagh, 3 stars. I enjoyed this overall, but it's nothing special. I've Survived by Holly Jackson, 2 stars, but the more I think about it, I almost want to change my rating to 1.5 stars. But we'll stick with 2 stars since that is what I originally gave it. I did not enjoy this, but it was very easy to read and get through, and it did get me out of a reading slump just because it was so fast-paced and easy to read. But the story and overall plot was not good, and I could not care less about any character in this book. Anathema by Carrie Lake, 5 stars. I love this book. It is a gothic fantasy romance book, and I really enjoyed the characters and the plot and overall story. And this is going to be a duology, so I will definitely be picking up the second book in 2025. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is the 3rd book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I did think the plot was a really cool idea, and I actually do like this couple more, but there was some parts of the plot that irritated me and got on my nerves, so I ended up giving this 4.25 stars because I did really like the main characters and I really enjoyed the ending, but there was some issues throughout the book. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, 4 stars. This was a fun surprise. I didn't know what to expect going into this book, but I had a really fun time and I got through this very quickly. And I do like the male main character in this, and I thought the overall plot was a fun idea, and I liked the Princes of Hell. Last but not least, A Dawn of Onyx by Kate Golden. This is the 1st book in the Sacred Stones trilogy, 3.25 stars. I enjoyed this book overall, but there was some cliches and I wasn't obsessed with any of the characters. It just felt a little bit basic, but I was entertained enough. And that is all 53 books I read in 2024. I feel like it was a pretty good reading year overall, and I'm excited to see what 2025 has in store and all of the books I will read. And please let me know down in the comments below what were your favorite and least favorite books of 2024 and what are your reading plans for 2025. And anyways, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you again, and I will see you all in the next one. I love you. Bye.